Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at Shadow Beedrill in the Summer Cup. This Pokemon is going to be able to actually beat both CHARJABUG as well as the Vigoroth, which you're gonna see here immediately. We are not going to run Exeter, and I'm gonna talk about this as well here. We're going to run Felstinger. Felstinger is going to be a pretty weak charge move, but it's going to guarantee an attack buff on our Beedrill, and I have to say, I definitely think this was the right call to do. Of course, Exeter is going to be a little bit more, I don't know, like predictable. You're always going to do the exact same damage with this thing, but here, of course, you kind of rely on trying to like sweep opponents, like two-shield scenario, stuff like this. So it is a little bit more risky to play, but I feel like it was definitely worth it to play this move. The one issue which I had like with Beedrill, and why I feel like it maybe even got a little bit nerfed recently, is just that Exeter got changed from being a pretty mediocre 35 energy move to being a very decent 40 energy move. But like with this, you basically need one extra fast move to get to a charge move with the Beedrill, and this is like really bad in the current meta. Like if you look at the Pokemon that are currently playing around here, for example, Vigoroth needs like 5 fast moves to get to one charge move, so you're always going to be slower. And with a Pokemon that has next to no bulk, being slower does not really make too much sense. So unless you're going to have something similar to like Shadow Claw, like Lostheart, the recent change to Exeter kind of was more of a nerf to a lot of Pokemon compared to what it was before, just because you just don't redo that consistent damage. Anyway, this team was actually a lot of fun to play, and honestly, Beedrill was a lot of fun to play as well. Still feel like that I would like to see some kind of change to like Bug-type Pokemon in terms of the usage and just like the usability of them. Like there are so many cool Bug-type charge moves or fast moves in the game that could come like into Pokemon Go. For example, something like U-turn as a fast move would be really cool to just do a lot of Bug-type damage, but also generate energy quite fast. Like there's no good Bug-type fast move. A Fury Cutter is, I guess, like the best of them, which is going to do basically no damage, but at least generates energy quite fast. It is quite awkward in like the life of those Bug-type Pokemon, to be fair, but it is what it is. Anyway, we're going to see here the Shadow Kingdra against our Stunfisk. We're going to be able to go for that Mud Bomb, and we can still outspeed them. Honestly, I feel like Stunfisk is one of my favorite Pokemon so far in this cup. I feel like it's like such a good Pokemon to use, and definitely feel free to also try this Pokemon out. We're going to see the Octazooka coming through. Can we still reach the move? We cannot, but we still have our Beedrill, and we still have Felstinger. Now we're going to see the beauty of Felstinger, going to be able to get that shield from the opponent while also being able to go for the full farm down. Let's see what's coming back in. It's going to be that Lickitung. We can go for that not super effective, but super hard hitting Drill Run, which is a great charge move to have. And we can go for the combo play with our Vigoroth to knock them out and actually still win this battle. Next opponent, Kingdra in lead. What can we do here? We can go not straight for Felstinger because you kind of want to bait a potential Exeter, so the opponent is forced to use a shield here, but go basically straight after 6 fast moves, which would be the same as 1 Exeter, and we can actually outspeed them. And you see already here in the lead, we are going to be able to get a 2 shield advantage straight away. We're going to lose 1 shield here because an Outrage would be kind of awkward for our Vigoroth, but it's going to be great as we can get some extra energy. We have not switch advantage, but we have energy advantage plus shield advantage, and both of them are going to be quite crucial. In comes the Lickitung from the opponent, and so this is going to be a little bit of a tough matchup. If we would have been able to align ourselves in the beginning, we would have been able to hardwall the opponent, but now the opponent can hardwall me. The Lickitung having access to Power Whip is going to be kind of scary, and I kind of have to hope that I can go into my Vigoroth in time to try to counter them down, but we kind of have to get some more time from the clock there. As you're going to see here, I'm going to go for another Mud Bomb, and I maybe make a little bit of a mistake here. I should have not went for this charge move. I should have just tried to go into the Vigoroth. If they go for the charge move, I think I still would have been able to survive one, but like this, they were able to swap out, and I have not enough energy really on my Stunfisk, so at the end of the day, I feel like this was a huge misplay by me. I could have played this a little bit better. Just even take the Power Whip would have been fine if they even got there in time. I don't even think they would have been able to get there in time, to be fair. So this was definitely a mistake on me. Sludge Wave is going to get me low enough that they can just go ahead and go for the full farm down. I am not going to be able to reach a Rock Slide, which does slightly more damage than a Body Slam, and so the opponent is going to be most likely in farm down range, but they're very likely going to be able to even go for 2 brines in time, and so I don't have any energy here. The opponent swaps out anyway. It is going to be that Body Slam. It is going to be able to actually not knock me out, but the Lick is going to be enough, and so we barely lose this battle. Next opponent, Vigoroth and Lead again. This is going to be a great matchup in general. If they go straight for the body slam, you can let the move go through. It does around 60% of your health. Counter is double resisted on this Pokemon, which is quite nice to have. Counter is like one of the strongest fast moves in the game, and having this one double resisted here is a lot of fun. Also, a lot of fun is the matchup of Stunfisk against the CHARJABUG. You might be wondering why I stayed in for a little bit with my Beedrill. Basically, 2 Mud Bombs are usually not enough from this range, and I kind of wanted to get them a little bit closer to a range where I can farm them down afterwards, as of course the Shadow Poison Jabs are doing way more damage than the Mud Shot will ever do. It's going to still not knock me out even with the next one, which is kind of funny, so maybe we can go for the full farm down after this charge move. Let's find out. The opponent is going to let the move go through. It is just barely not enough. I should have stayed in for a little bit longer still with my Beedrill. This would have helped me out a little bit more there as well. Ixa coming through, we can still swap out though into the Beedrill. We know already one Pokemon that is going to be kind of weak to us, and they're going to have a Stunfisk in the back, allowing us to go for a charge move. No Mud Bomb, no Discharge is going to knock me out here either, and so we get the shield because they're fearing the Drill Run, which is lovely as we now have a attack buff, which is gonna come in clutch now. We can go for the Drill Run. They're forced to use a shield, but I think they can farm me down afterwards if they use a shield here, which they do, and so it's still going to be a little bit of a trickier one. Sadly, that poison is resisted by ground. Like, I don't really understand why it is resisted by ground, to be fair, like in terms of, I don't know, like maybe there's a reason for it, but it would have been so much better for this Pokemon to be not resisted by ground, because for this team especially, I was very scared about like Quagsire. Quagsire would be very difficult to deal with, or any kind of Mud Boy, and it's mainly because of Poison Jab being resisted. If like this would be neutral, we would have had a way better chance there, but here it doesn't really matter anyway because they don't have Mud Boy, but they have Pokemon that are weak to Vigoroth, and we can move on to the next opponent. Beedrill into Kingdra. This is going to be a matchup that we can definitely win. I kind of saw it before already. We can kind of go for 2 charge moves and we should be kind of fine here. If they go for their own charge move, I might just let the move go through. I have to see here. The opponent decides to go for the charge move. There's no real reason for me to let the move, not let the move go through basically. Because if they get the debuff, they are not really threatened by me from like a KO from my charge move itself there, so like there's no reason for me to really use a shield there. The opponent is gonna now use their last shield as well, and they kind of really want to realign themselves here, so they're very likely going to be double weak to our Stunfisk in the back, and we don't get the debuff, which is lovely. They swap out into their own Stunfisk, allowing us to go ahead and go for that next Mud Bomb here. Mud Bomb is going to connect. We're gonna get them kind of low. We kind of want to swap out onto the next charge move just in order to kind of try to preserve some health here, but I was a little bit too late. This was of course my own fault here. This was not great from me, but at least we're going to be able to now catch the next move here in time on our Vigoroth. And this is going to be crucial, as now the Mud Bomb is not going to do too much damage. I could have tried to do something interesting here as well by going for the full farm down, but I kind of didn't want to take more damage on my Vigoroth, and so I decided to use my Body Slam to get rid of that Stunfisk. In comes the Toxapex, and I feel like maybe if I just went for the full farm down, actually would have been a better play, because I would have had the switch clock way lower now, because I would have been able to go for the charge moves way easier. And now we are going to be in a quite awkward position, as the opponent has quite a lot of energy, and we are going to be in range for just one Brine already from the opponent's Toxapex, which is going to be risky. Discharge does, I think, like 5 more damage compared to Mud Bomb, and so I decided to go for that, hoping that it would knock them out. It doesn't, and so sadly this is going to knock us out. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have the Beedrill against a Lickitung. This is going to be an interesting one as well, as we're going to try to go for 6 fast moves and then swap out into the Vigoroth. It works out quite often, to be fair, to catch that body slam, because they're always kind of scared of the charge moves of Beedrill, and we can take them way easier here. And we also get out the Skeledirge, which is really good for us, because we don't want to face it with our bug type in the lead. Fire is not really good for bug. Honestly, it is mad, by the way, how bad bug typing is defensively and offensively. Like, it's the worst typing in the game, and like I don't really know why Niantic doesn't give them like great moves to have. I guess like Mega Horn is a decent move. I think it's the Shadow Ball clone. I think it's even better than Shadow Ball, isn't it? I think they buffed it. And you don't really have any great fast move though, and you don't really, I don't know, like you don't really have a good bug type Pokemon in the current meta, which I hope changes for the next season, but who knows. Here we're going to have a great matchup though. We're going to have the Azumarill, which is going to take super effective damage from our fast move, and look at the damage output here. Like, Azumarill is a very bulky Pokemon, but it doesn't really matter if you go up against the Beedrill. Beedrill is still going to sting literally, as we're gonna go for the Fell Stinger, going to buff our own attack, but this is kinda a very smart play by the opponent. Like, I could have just went for a drill run here and would have completely destroyed the opponent, but I decided to go for the bait the entire time. This was luckily a CMP tie, which is going to allow us to get rid of the energy from the opponent, and so we can overfarm with our Stunfisk. We can only overfarm, of course, to like, the 100 energy. We can go for the Mud Bomb. We are not knocking them out, and this is actually great. They can maybe still get to a body slam, but this should not be the power whip. So let's take a look at this one. It is just the body slam, and so we can go for the Mud Bomb bait. We have to hope that the opponent decides to use a shield here. For them, that's kind of a clear one. Yes, they do. And now we have to try to go for the discharge. And I think the bait was actually quite important because, by the looks of it, we should be just barely able to get to this discharge here, knock out the opponent's Azumarill, and still win this game. So, moving on. Let's see what the next opponent is going to run here. We're going to have another Lickitung. Honestly, I feel like there are so many Lickitung currently in like the top meta-ish, kind of like we're kind of up still towards like the 2500 MMR ranking right now, by the way. We still have not hit the next rank yet, but I'm also playing some spicier stuff and not like the things that all my opponents playing. Like, yeah, I could also go for Lickitung, CHARJABUG, and maybe like something like I don't know, Vigoroth in the back to be kind of spicy here. No, I don't know. Like, it's not really something that I like to do, especially not in the beginning of the season. Like, there's no real reason to not, like, try out new things here. I know some people maybe take it as an opportunity to say, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to hit, like, higher up ranks because I change my team all the time. I feel like this is not really the case. If you know what you're doing, you kind of still going to be fine by changing up your teams once in a while. But, yeah, there was one. I'm not really want to talk too much about it, but there was a video recently that was quite a weird one, I have to say, and that's kind of what maybe I actually make a video about this eventually as well. But anyway, we're going to be able to go for the full farm down here against the opponent's Lickitung. Well, of course, here with our change team, it's always kind of lovely. We're going to be able to go for the full farm down. They're going to have a Quagsire in the back. We have to be a little bit careful here because the opponent is going to be in a type advantage, of course. Like, Quagsire is exactly the Pokemon that you don't want to face, and so we're gonna go for the bait first. Now we have to go for a shield, and hopefully they're running Mud Bomb. They do run Mud Bomb, which is going to be great for us, because like this, they're going to take longer to get to the charge moves, which is very important because now we can still go for that hard-hitting move, but they're gonna knock me out, and I was not really able to catch anything either, like catching on a Pokemon that's weak to Mud Bomb. Not too sure if this is going to work out. They're going to outspeed me here, so there was no reason for me to go straight for my charge move. Can we still win this one? Mud Bomb coming through. It is going to, it's going to be a CHARJABUG still in the back with a charge move, and there's going to be game, but let's move on to the next opponent. This was my favorite battle. Look at this, like, come on, let's take a look at this. Worst possible lead that we could imagine here. Like, literally, straight up, worst possible lead. We're going to have a Quagsire against us. It's going to start even worse off as well here as the opponent decides to use a shield. I decide to use a shield now as well because a Stone Edge would do quite a lot of damage. But they bait me, and of course, they're going to decide to go ahead and go for another charge move. What is this going to be? A Stone Edge, and so we are literally off to the worst possible start. But maybe we can kind of flip this a little bit. Let's find out. We're going to be able to connect that rock side, which is quite important. And we have some lag here, but we try to CMP tie on the next charge move to try to get the shield from the opponent. And we can. They value the switch advantage quite a lot here, apparently, which is going to be something that I will take advantage of, because now I can go into my Stunfisk, I can take those moves, I maybe even take another charge move from the opponent. I don't really care too much here at this point. They gotta go for another charge move, that is happy for me, because at this point, I need to keep my shield. For my Beedrill, I need to get energy advantage here, and they have a Lickitung in the back, and so we're gonna go for the Fell Stinger. Fell Stinger is going to boost our attack again, and it's time to showcase what the bee can do here. We do quite a lot of damage with our poison jabs. We're going to also use a shield here, of course, on the body slam, because it's like the only way to go here, basically, and we can go for the Drill Run. Drill Run is going to do a lot of damage. It's not there, but look at the damage against the Lickitung, knocking them out. In comes the Quagsire, and we can still see CMP tie here as they try to farm me all the way down. This is going to be able to connect, knock them out, and we can even farm on the CHARJABUG triple kill against a hard counter team. Final battle for today. Horrible lead again here for our Beedrill with the Lickitung. We have to swap out straight away. They are not falling for this time around, and it's going to be that tough matchup. Like, this is the thing as well. There are going to be so many Toxapex in the backlines of people right now because a lot of people, including myself, you're just running the Vigoroth as a say-swap. It's the best say-swap, so like, why not run it? And so it is quite an awkward matchup here because they're always going to be able to kind of align themselves. And I'm also going to make some silly mistakes here, most likely. I was thinking that because I got like some energy advantage before that, I would be able to go for my next body slam before they can go for the next charge move, but apparently this is not the case, and this is not a brine either. It is going to be that sludge wave, which I was so surprised about because most people just go for that sludge wave afterwards, but here it is going to be a tough one. Like, the opponent is going to have now the advantage of, yeah, switch advantage basically as well, I think, but also definitely the shield advantage and the Pokemon advantage, because that Power Whip is going to definitely quite sting, as we have to rely on our Beedrill. I don't feel that this is going to work out at all here, but maybe we still have a chance. Let's find out. Are we going to be able to go for the first stinger? Going to get our attack buff? We can go for another one, but we have to hope that we somehow can farm them down afterwards. They use a shield here, which does make a lot of sense, and they can still go for the body slam. And so this is going to be game here, sadly. We're going to lose the final one. But yeah, still, hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.